धारावी चॉइस नहीं था, धारावी मजबूरी थी.
ऐसे रेसिस्टेंस था 4 लाख की नौकरी छोड़ के आप अभी बिजनेस चालू कर रहे हो, हाउ वाज इट?
कितना लालच करेगा, इतना तो मतलब IIM से पास आउट वाले लोगों को भी नहीं मिलता है. आई हैड नो चॉइस बट टू स्टे इन धारावी बिकॉज द रेंट्स वर लेस ऑफ अ चॉल.
मुझे ना 1 लाख रुपया कमाना है, तो व्हाट वुड यू सजेस्ट टू दीज यंग ब्राइट माइंड? हाय प्रतीक.
हाय सुजित,
वेलकम टू इंक स्टोरीज.
thank you so much for calling me here.
Yeah, actually, we've been doing Ink Stories primarily focused on the print industry. You are the first guest that we thought we should have outside the industry, and my go-to person was the SN team to ask them who could be the possible guests that we could have. And the first name that came out was Prateek Kumar. And so मैंने सोचा यार कुछ तो भी there are 1,000 entrepreneurs and one of the first names that came out was Prateek. तो मैंने बोला कुछ तो होगा. And we are here to talk about your story right from Dharavi to 200 crores. So can we start? We can talk about your journey.
Absolutely. So I'm thankful to Asen to think about me. There are a lot more illustrious entrepreneurs that exist in that
I'm sure.
cohort, right? And all of us know about it.
Yes,
you are
yes.
a part of that.
Yeah, I'm a part of that as well. Yes.
But I would love to talk. It's good to meet up a fellow entrepreneur and talk about the entrepreneur journey, right?
करेक्ट. तो बताइए ना, ये जो धारावी से लेके आपने 200 करोड़ का ये जो बिजनेस चालू किया, कि व्हाट्स दिस थिंग? आई मीन वील गो बैक इनटू योर अर्ली बर्थ एंड ऑल दैट, बट ये बिजनेस वाला कहाँ से एंगल? व्हाई वर यू इन धारावी एंड हाउ डिड यू स्केल इट अप सो बिग?
So धारावी चॉइस नहीं था, धारावी मजबूरी थी. Right. So when I came to Bombay in '98 to do my hotel management.
अच्छा.
During that hotel management time, what happened was while everybody was busy enjoying life, and we were all teenagers at that point of time, right? So while my batchmates would enjoy the Valentine's Day, the Rose Days, and so many other days that any college campus has, I always saw an opportunity of doing events during those time. So I would kind of block a discotheque in the afternoon when nobody wanted it, get a fly-by-night operator as a DJ, and those were the times of cassettes and CDs. Cloud computing was still far off, so we will cut off CDs, we will I would get a lot of people from my own batchmates who would work as a free employees,
Achha.
so to say, or juniors. And then we would execute one of the concert nights, we would execute one of the prom nights, and so on and so forth. And money was coming easy. So by the end of 3 years, I was so hooked into events that when I joined Taj Group as a management trainee, I didn't like it.
Achha.
And I quit that job on the fly.
Achha.
And I got an offer from a startup agency,
Achha.
which was just starting up.
Achha.
And they promised me that they would give me the same salary as what I was getting as a stipend from my management training program. And as it happened that when I came there, I got an offer letter which was like 4,500.
Oh.
And even 4,500 was not getting paid on time.
Acha.
Right. So, and you have rent.
And what were they into?
So they were into event management.
Event
corporate
management.
Event
Okay.
management. It was just coming up in India.
And that was something of your liking which you had done for the last 3 years. Okay.
So and it was 2001.
Acha.
Just beyond the millennium. So, and since money was not coming, I had no choice but to stay in Dharavi, because the rents were less of a chawl. During those times, I was paying 1,500 rupees per month, and I used to share that accommodation with around 4 or 5 more people. And we didn't had much of money, right? So our gourmet meals of that time was vada pav. Sometimes even vada pav was not there. I have tried everything. Somebody said that you have chana and it fills your stomach and have water. Let me tell you, it doesn't happen that way.
Achha.
You still feel hungry. My go-to place at that point of time used to be Dadar Gurudwara. I have had enough langars over there because I didn't have money. So that was more out of necessity of existence rather than anything else that I had to go to Dharavi. But I was always passionate about events, experiential marketing, connecting with people, building brands and bringing them closer to the customers. So there was no other choice per se. So idea of my business happened that time, but I come from a very middle class family, from a tier 2 city, Ranchi. I was born in Ranchi.
Ranchi.
Yeah. So you don't have much of a choice until unless you learn the trick of the trade, save certain amount of money and do it. So from 2001 to finally 2011, it took me almost 10 years to make my dream a reality.
Achha.
In between those times, I worked with couple of agencies, learned a lot, earned quite little, but it was a fantastic journey. One of my most fondest memories.
So by the time you started your business around 2011, so what was your pay package at that point in time?
Okay, so let me remember. I think my take-home salary after deductions and everything was 3 lakh rupees per month.
3 lakh rupees a month.
There was a variable package to it, which was close to around 12 to 15 lakhs. Because I was directly involved with the business of the organization.
So you were earning over 50 lakhs annually. यानी मोटा मोटी 4 से 4.5 लाख रुपए
40 लाख तो होंगे.
तो यानी फिर बिजनेस करने के लिए वो इंटरेस्ट ड्राइव आया कैसे? यानी 4 लाख तो इज एट दैट टाइम इज ह्यूज मनी. 2011 आज भी बड़ा पैसा है, बट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 2011.
So I have always been like this, Sujit. Early in the childhood, I think I did my first event, which was in my standard. I think I was in class 5, if I am not wrong. I did my colony's sports day.
अच्छा.
Where I collected money, did all this chanda and everything. किसी से पैसे लिए, किसी दुकानदार से sponsorship लिया.
अच्छा.
And actually held the first annual sports. I think when I was in class 7, I did my first cricket tournament, day-night cricket tournament in Ranchi, in a place called Sadhu Bagan.
अच्छा.
Pretty hit. Almost 16 teams participated in that, and we made a cool profit of around 22,000, which was a great money of that time. I'm talking about 95, 96.
Oh.
Not even 95, 96. In fact, I'm talking about 93.
अच्छा.
So organizing events, organizing some marketing stuff.
So you are probably way early into life. आप entrepreneurship में आ चुके थे. It was just that you did not incorporate a company of your own till 2011.
हाँ, कुछ ना कुछ तो जुगाड़ चालू रहा. कभी ट्यूशन पढ़ाया, कभी स्टैम्प कलेक्शन किया, उसको ट्रेड किया, कभी कॉइन कलेक्शन किया, उसको ट्रेड किया. So all those things kept on happening. Comic trade किया. Our time was about.
घर से resistance था. 4 लाख की नौकरी छोड़ के आप अभी business चालू कर रहे हो. How was it? From a middle class family.
So when you come from a middle class family, now what happens is money is scarce, right? My parents always gave us good education in the term. My dad was a gazetted officer. He had company owned vehicle. Government vehicle was given to him, the white ambassador car and a Mahindra Jeep of that time. But he has never allowed her to sit on that.
Achha.
I still remember one of the Independence Day parade, one of his office boy, they used to call peon at that point of time, got me to his office. I was very small at that point of time, and gave me a sweet box. And my dad actually grabbed it away and said, this is for the office staff and not for my family. Gave the peon 5 rupees, gave him some sweet meat outside.
Achha.
I felt really bad at the business. So in terms of education, they were really good and supportive. But business doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
Back home.
Yeah.
I'm talking about United State of Bihar that time. Now Ranchi has become Jharkhand. So my mom was saying, कितना लालच करेगा, इतना तो मतलब IIM से पास आउट वाले लोगों को भी नहीं मिलता है. You are earning so much, why to do that?
Actually, it is spun in a different way ना. कितना लालच करोगे? वो entrepreneur बनने के लिए भी ऐसा लगता है कि यार क्यों करना है तुमको?
हाँ, but actually ये लालच नहीं होता है.
अगर लालच नहीं होता.
Sujit,
how do you explain?
Right? At the beginning, and especially if you are a first generation entrepreneur, you don't have money. Nobody knows you.
Right.
You don't have a brand. You don't have a money. You don't have a.
No doors are open for you.
Correct. It's only, I think, some amount of craziness or some amount of love for something or creation
Passion.
that you want to do that allows you to take that leap of faith.
Correct.
And that's how I'm married to a Gujarati. So my mother-in-law, on the other hand, said, "पहले side से कुछ कर लो." Because Gujaratis typically are very entrepreneur minded, right? She said, "Don't take a risk. Don't let go of." And I said, that would be ethically wrong. So if I have to do something, I have to do something on the straight.
Lovely.
So that's how it happened.
Great. So अभी 2011 से जो लेके 2025 तक का journey where you have built this, So tell us a little bit about that and how has been the journey.
So NeoNiche journey, I would break it into.
So yeah, NeoNiche. That's the name of your company. What is NeoNiche basically into before we start about your journey? Sorry.
Okay. So let me tell you first the interesting concept of how the name happened, right?
Acha.
So
Okay.
NeoNiche actually is not a word in any of the languages.
Oh.
NeoNiche was created by joining two words together. So when we were starting up, me and my co-founders, we were sitting in my bedroom, and we were planning about enough names. And since we had a business which was something to do with brand, we were thinking about this brand kettle, brand this, brand that. Nothing was sticking. I actually wanted to name my company in such a way that it is easy to remember in every dialect. It's short, it's crisp, everybody needs to remember it, and in whatever language you hear it, you think it is unique, but you don't use it in everyday life. So we just joined the two words together. So new is new, fresh, out of the box.
Okay.
Niche means specialized.
Okay.
So we decided we will do whatever we will do something innovative,
Acha.
and we will be specialized in our team, in our industry, in our business that we do, and that's how the name NeoNiche came.
Yeah,
into.
it's a nice name.
So NeoNiche started as an event company.
Okay.
We were into corporate events.
Okay.
Then we moved to experiential marketing. Now we are full services marketing agency, which means that we do corporate events. We do lot of B2B digital marketing. We do performance marketing, influencer marketing. We do brand positionings. So today we are a full services agency.
Lovely. So how was just break down your growth from zero in 2011 to 200 today or more? You have a lot of business, so just break it up for us, for our viewers, to understand कि ये business scale कैसे करते हैं and what are the challenges that you faced. What would be the learnings that you would want to share with our listeners?
So let me break it into a 5-year cycle.
Okay.
So NeoNiche 1.0 was all about startup,
Okay.
bootstrapped.
Okay.
So we kind of collected money. In fact, two of my partners didn't even had a money, so I had to give them a freelancer gig to make money to put in the seed capital.
Acha.
We got laptops from our home. In fact, my wife donated 2 of her laptops. She was on the corporate side. Somebody else brought a printer. Somebody else brought stationery. We got a space in Vyapar Bhavan in Karnak Bandar, Mumbai,
Acha.
and the basement,
Acha.
without loo, without anything. Just put in 4 tables, 4 chairs, and the office was started like
Acha.
that. And needless to say, in the first 5 years, we didn't had much of idea about what is the company vision, what is the mission is all about, what the goals are all about. In fact, during those times, if you would have asked any of my co-founder or myself what the goal of the company is, all 5 of us would have said different things. So we just started because
Okay.
it was just a gut feel
Okay.
from within.
अच्छा कि कुछ करना है.
हाँ, कुछ करना है और कंपनी चालू कर देते हैं.
Okay.
कोई कस्टमर नहीं है. इनफैक्ट आई टोल्ड माई ओल्ड बॉस दैट आई वुड नेवर गेट एनी ऑफ योर कस्टमर और एनी ऑफ योर पीपल. आई विल नेवर पोच. बट द डे समबडी कम्स टू माई डोर स्टेप, मैं उनको ले लूँगा. बिकॉज लक्ष्मी अगर तिलक करने जाएगी तो आएगी तो मैं मुँह धोने नहीं जाऊँगा. आई रिमेंबर दैट डायलॉग. So that's how the company started. But in the first 5 years, starting from first year itself, when we did a turnover of 5 crore, including taxes. In fact, we didn't even have the idea of कि बस tax को अलग रखो और actual turnover is without the taxes because tax belongs to the government. By 2017, we were churning in some 22 crores in revenue, but we were saturated. Beyond that, we were not growing. So then we started. That was also the time 2015 we shifted from Karnak Bandar office to Kolaba, a nice swanky office, which we invested a lot of capex to actually build that office. Team members had increased. That is the time we actually had our first vision. We built our mission, vision, values, sat down, started having annual goals, started having performance marketing, started having the interview process, and from there we grew to almost 50 crore in year 2020.
And from 17 to 20, you were,
so
more than doubled.
We doubled, more than doubled. And 2020, the pandemic hit, and we were not prepared.
No one was prepared.
No one was prepared. The world never knew what to do, and we were in the business of social gathering. All the conventions that we did, all the product launches that it was all about bringing people together, right? And then here is a disease that nobody knows about. The world is grappling with it for the first time.
And how long will it continue? कुछ पता नहीं.
Our world has moved to social distancing. We tried our hand in webinars and virtual event. We used to have a virtual event platform, and virtual event platform was like how the sanitizers or the mask makers were. Every gullies had those people, and it has died its own death. But those were also the time when we could actually put our head together and think. 2 of my co-founders had just moved out.
Okay.
So it was a double whammy.
They moved out before the pandemic, after?
One of the members, one of the co-founder actually moved out in 2018. He wanted to pursue something in hospitality.
Okay.
The second co-founder moved out just before the pandemic.
Okay.
So it was a double whammy for the remaining three of us. That we have to pay the equity money to
These two.
the exiting partner. At the same time, kind of sustain the organization.
Right.
We had to take unsecured loans from market to pay those to pay to our partner. We in fact, in the company which was raking in a turnover of almost 50 crore suddenly came down to 13 crore. We ran on losses.
Oh.
We had to lay off people, which was a tough thing to do. We had to reduce salaries, and I am lucky that we had a team which was agreeing to that. But we did one of the best work during those time. And in 2022, which is NeoNiche 4.0 journey, because 3.0 is what I would say the pandemic is.
Pandemic is 3.0.
When
Okay.
it is all about keeping your head above water and surviving.
Just surviving.
Just surviving. So 4.0 was about rapid growth.
Okay.
We had a hockey stick growth.
Acha.
From the down in the dumps of 13 crore turnover in 2022, we almost have raked in 200 crore now.
Wow.
So currently we are present in Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Kolkata. Plus we have an international branch in Singapore.
Lovely.
We acquired two of the businesses.
Wow.
So we acquired a digital agency which is rechristened as Ideate, which is into performance marketing, lookalike campaigns, those kind of things. We acquired another company called the Human Entertainment Network
Okay.
in Delhi and made it as a part of our Delhi branch.
Okay.
Today we have more than 250 people working with us as our team member, and I think we had a pleasant journey till now.
Lovely.
Now we are standing at the cusp of NeoNiche 5.0 journey, where
Acha.
we intend to grow.
Before you go to 5.0, this is where you actually had your maximum growth. The hockey stick, that word that you used. तो 50 से 200 में were there challenges, or what were those things that you did right? You feel now when you look back कि I could grow 4x in 3 years.
So I have been an athlete in my life, right?
Acha.
Sujit, and I would equate it with different athletical this thing, right? So running a business is like it's not like running a sprint, or even it's not even like running a marathon. A lot of people say it's like
yeah, I was just going to say that.
I think running a business is like a decathlon.
Acha.
You at different stages of a business now, you need a different athletic skill set to run it.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to swim, sometimes you have to bicycle, sometimes you have to sprint, sometimes you have to do cross country.
True.
Right.
Now I agree.
At every stage we had to bring in different kind of entrepreneurial skill set and do our own learning before we could teach our team, or before we could hire, or before we could actually put in processes. And because your skin is always in the game, sometimes you learn it the harder way by committing your mistakes. Sometimes you learn by having right kind of experts around you. Lot of time we entrepreneurs do the biggest mistake of we want to be the smartest in the room. That doesn't work. You need to have a complementary setup.
Right.
Two of the greatest, I think, not only two, quite a few of the greatest king in our India in the past have been Ashoka the Great, Akbar the Great, Shivaji the Great, right? And if you look at their journey, they always had their Navratnas, the 9 gems, right? Who would provide the right kind of expertise into a particular field, whether it was fine arts, whether it was diplomacy, whether it was running governance. So we as an entrepreneur also need those right kind of people around us. So who can constantly tell you about your blind spots, and would also be handy in terms of providing you the right kind of expertise in terms of any particular area, whether you want to acquire a company, whether you want to expand your company, whether you want to get into a product line.
Okay.
And you should be ready to listen. Ready to listen to experts as well as ready to listen to your own team.
Okay.
And that makes a difference.
Agreed. I mean, I think what you very aptly put it is, I think you put the right people in place to be able to grow your business multifold times.
Absolutely.
Lovely. Great. So now 5.0. How is 5.0 turning up?
So 5.0 would be about global aspiration.
Okay.
I think India is in the right governance right at this point of time. World is noticing us, and the next decade will belong to India. Current decade is also belonging to India, but next decade would be all about India. We are the leader of Global South. We are setting up examples. Possibly this is the time when the largest cohort of entrepreneurs are coming in, not only from tier 1 cities but also tier 2, tier 3 cities.
True.
You hear Zoho is a great example of how an organization becomes global after being set up in India.
Yes.
Reliance is another example. Tata's have been examples for a long time. Right. Now, if you go to a tier 2, tier 3 cities, there are enough number of people like us who doesn't have any kind of background into entrepreneurship. They are starting their own businesses.
Right.
The world has become flatter in that sense.
Yes.
And from that context, NeoNiche is no different. We are planning to go global.
Lovely.
We have our dream of getting listed.
Nice.
We want to be noticed, and a lot of our products, especially marketing automotive products, actually are focused on global audiences.
Lovely.
So it is all about Make in India for the world.
Lovely. Great. So one question that strikes me, if I were to be a 18, 19, 20 year old और मुझे अभी बिजनेस चालू करना है और मैंने ये पॉडकास्ट सुन लिया, प्रतीक जी ने इतना बड़ा बिजनेस खड़ा किया, मुझे ना 1 लाख रुपया कमाना है, तो व्हाट वुड यू सजेस्ट टू दीज यंग ब्राइट माइंड्स कि क्या करना चाहिए? व्हाट शुड दे डू द फर्स्ट ईयर और फर्स्ट few months or first few years? What should you advise?
So earning 1 lakh is not a difficult task. You can earn 1 lakh by just getting into anything. Why do you want to start up your own business?
But then today, as you know, the average annual income in India is much lower. People are not being able to get those ideas. You are successful, you have built something, I have been able to do something small, but then there are many people who are not being able to get that idea. कहाँ से चालू करें? तो if it were to be in event management, your field, so how should they start? Okay, let's be more specific.
So event was always my passion, right?
Yeah. So and someone who is passionate about event management.
And you are into business, what is your passion? So it's always better to look within and see what is your passion. Let's say even if you don't make money, would you love doing it every day in, day out?
Oh, right.
Right. During pandemic years, we were not making money. I am pretty much sure you were not making money. A lot of entrepreneurs were not making money until
just wanting to survive.
Yeah, until you were actually from a pharmaceutical industry or a healthcare industry or education industry or dairy products industry, right? So it's always necessary to find the passion first. And it's not always necessary that you need to be an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur within a business as well, right?
True.
Right? Everybody actually helps in nation building. Right? You need to find out your calling. Whether it is being an entrepreneur, whether it is being an entrepreneur, whether it's being a sportsman, whether it's being a teacher, and start focusing on it. If it is a passion and you are actually addressing a need that the world has a question for, just do that. The world will come together, they will help you out. I am a movie buff, right? And we have that famous Shah Rukh Khan dialogue. ये सारी कायनात उसको आपसे मिलाने में जुट जाती है.
So you just have to start somewhere. Don't worry too much कि क्या होगा. जो तुम्हारा अंदर से दिल बोले कि मुझे ये करने में पैसे भी नहीं मिले तो it's okay, but I want to do it, and for the rest of my life I will be happy doing it.
Absolutely. And if your calling is entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is about jumping off the cliff and making the parachute on the way down, right? It's never about you having all the answers.
You will never have all the answers.
Absolutely.
No matter how hard
even today we don't have all the answers, right?
True. Great. Good one at that. अभी मुझे ना ये जानना था कि ये एजेंसी जो बिजनेस है, टू बी ऑनेस्ट आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड मच, बट देन आई थिंक देयर आर डाइम अ डजन, बहुत सारे एजेंसीज है. आई मीन द ईजिएस्ट बिजनेस मुझे कभी लोगों से सुनाई देता है कि फ्रीलांसर है, मैंने एजेंसी चालू कर दिया. सो you are running a large agency with 250 employees and you have got global aspirations. So what is your message to those guys? How should they scale their business if they want to reach NeoNiche's level?
So it is necessary to have the fundamentals right.
Okay.
We had our fundamentals.
What are the fundamentals? Can you be a little specific?
What is the vision of the organization?
Okay.
What are the values of the organization? What is the DNA that you stand for? Then having the right core team. whether it is your partner, whether it is your leadership team, whether it is your people at large. And then finally, understanding that which is the customer segment that you are addressing. You can start anything. For example, today I can get into a printing business, which is your business.
Right.
But is that my core? No, it's not my core. I will not be addressing the same customer base, or I would not be addressing the need which I know, right? So understand what you are good at.
What is your expertise?
What is your expertise? Focus on the challenge that is actually real world challenge that exists. Forget about you need a funding, forget about you want this money, forget about you are building. Everything will come. If funding is what is required, it will come eventually. And then there are two kinds of entrepreneurship, right? I'm an animal lover, and I love dogs. So let me give you an example. There are pedigree dogs.
Okay.
The Labradors, the German Shepherds.
Okay.
Right, the pugs.
Okay.
Right. I believe if you come from family-owned business, or if you come from B schools, you already have an alumni network. You have the right kind of expertise, right? This is the cohort I will call the pedigree dog. Don't take me wrong. I will request your viewer not to take me wrong, because I love dog, and dogs are the most faithful animal.
Yes.
Right.
Totally.
Second is the scavengers, the pariahs. Right. You don't know. You are born in the road. You have to survive every day. You don't mind eating dirt. You don't mind eating leftovers. The constant thing is survival.
Just survival.
Moving ahead. Just clawing it ahead, right? I think me and you belong to that second category, right? Let me take the liberty of saying that. Irrespective of whatever dog breed you are, at the end, you will have to make way and survive and mark your territory and move ahead.
Correct.
And that comes with an expertise.
Correct.
That comes with the hunger to address something, the passion to get into a work, even if you have lost a customer. And not everything works out, right? In entrepreneurship, not everything works out every day. There would be ups, there would be downs. There would be high highs, there would be low lows.
True.
There would be a customer who will come in, there would be a customer who may leave you. And sometimes you may have to leave a customer because you are not addressing their need.
Right.
Sometimes your people will stick around, sometimes some of them will leave. Just wish them well, right? So having that intrinsic power to refuel every day, recharge every night, and then come back and get motivated, so that in turn you can motivate your team, your supply chain, right? Those are the few things I think is inherent to any entrepreneur, whether you come from a family-run business, whether you come
that's
from
what matters.
school,
Yeah.
whether you are a first generation.
So when you're saying this, I was just thinking, we know each other because of Ascent, and I think we have to give it to Ascent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So first thing is what is your journey? How did you get into Ascent? Because you told me, but I want you to tell our viewers also कि Ascent का journey कैसे आया?
Interesting है यार. Business चालू करने का तो सोच लिया, and everybody in my team is much junior. So they knew nothing about it. They had just had a blind faith in my vision, and quite honestly, I didn't have also had that much of a clarity of a vision. Just a hunger to start my own. And I'm a voracious reader, and any given point of time, I read at least 3 to 4 books.
Lovely.
Because we come from a middle class family, what happens is you have not had the opportunity of a global education where you meet into a global melting pot, the likes of Princeton and Harvard, right?
Correct.
Your parents don't have that kind of money, which means that you have not traveled around the globe.
Correct.
Today, at least we have YouTube. In our times, there were no YouTubes, nothing. Internet was just coming in.
Correct.
So, from that context, what happens is we need to constantly learn. And I have found that book is the best.
And reading is the best way to learn.
Absolutely. So I was reading this book called High Performance Entrepreneur, written by Subroto Bagchi.
Mindtree wale.
Yeah. So I wrote him a fan mail.
You wrote him a mail?
Yeah, fan mail. Email ID figure out किया. Wrote a mail saying, भाई मेरे को तो कुछ नहीं मालूम है entrepreneurship के बारे में. आपकी बुक ने मेरे को बहुत inspire किया है.
Okay.
और can you mentor me?
You asked him to mentor you?
हाँ, and he responded. Actually, he responded.
Oh my.
Lord bless him. मतलब
Seriously?
A person of his stature.
Yeah.
And actually
He's
agreeing
amongst
to a
the
mail and saying he was
titan of the Indian IT industry.
So he had written another book called MBA at 19.
Achha, that I haven't
And
read.
he had come for that book launch at Crawford, not Crawford Market, I think Nepean Sea Road.
Okay.
Crossword.
Crosswords.
So he called me there. And I went and I had a 5 minutes meeting with him, and I said, I want you to mentor him. And he kind of agreed. And I also went once to Bangalore, but the money was costing was for a bootstrap startup. You don't have money, and he in fact suggested about Ascent, and that's how I applied, and I got selected.
You would have known Harsh, and that's how.
Harsh Mariwala, I think. Lord bless him. I think we all have to thank him for the Ascent, what he has created today. A fabulous ecosystem for any entrepreneur. Right?
Totally.
And I am full of gratitude for Ascent.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't think I would have had the privilege of meeting wonderful entrepreneurs like you. I made some amazing friends in my trust group, and friends for life. We yearn to meet each other and share our journeys over the past 1 month. So Ascent is like it's family. It's an extended family, and I just I totally agree that we owe a lot to Harsh, and God bless him.
Absolutely.
So on that note, in the interest of time, I'll not stretch it too much. So we usually move towards the last two questions. That's more for us in terms of how we are doing the podcast and what should we be doing ahead. So the first question is, we would want some suggestions from you. Like, you are a wonderful entrepreneur who's done this amazing journey of from 0 to 200. तो ऐसे और बताइए from Ascent, outside Ascent, any suggestions that you have, who could be our guests from across industries?
Absolutely. I think your audience is also very widespread.
Yes.
People who watch your podcast.
Yes, and hungry for growth.
Yeah, absolutely. So from that context, I think you can have Ankit Mehta, the founder, CEO of Idea Forge Technologies, one of the largest drone manufacturer of this country.
Okay.
You can have Shweta Mangal. You can have Dr. Sanjay Arora, founder of Suburban Diagnostic.
Okay.
You can have quite a few other entrepreneurs. It would be very difficult for me to name from such a huge
at least you can
outside Ascent. My hotel management batchmates, Kainas Bisman.
Theo Brahma.
Founder of Theo Brahma.
Lovely. That will be nice.
Women entrepreneur who build everything from a scratch and build it from there. Everything has an example, whether you want to get listed, whether you want to make difference to people's life, whether you want to get acquired. All those examples would be in the experience of I think this.
Lovely. Thanks. I would want those numbers from you. Ascent wale to I will surely take, and also Kindnesses. That would be nice.
Absolutely.
And the last one is, how do you find this podcast, and what's your view on this podcast, and how will it help, and what should be the takeaway for the listeners? Aapka kya?
So for me, the podcast was talking to an old friend, right? Right. So it's like a great Saturday spent sipping tea, talking about
reminiscing old days,
right? And I think your audience almost felt that they were all other bunch of friends who were in the room.
Right.
So it was pleasant. Yeah, it was absolutely my pleasure.
Great. Thanks, Prateek. Thanks for your time on a Saturday, coming over and sharing your journey and helping our listeners to probably get some inspiration and find their own calling.
Yeah, my pleasure, Sujit.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a nice life ahead. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.